what made Dr. Ali Shariati reshape how millions of Muslims understood religion, power, and resistance. Why did his ideas resonate so deeply with a generation living under authoritarian rule? And how did this thinking help prepare the intellectual ground for the revolution that would transform Iran? Ali Shariati was born in a small village near Sabzewar, Iran, in the early 1930s. His father, a respected Shia cleric, gave him his first exposure to Islamic scholarship, but Shariati's intellectual appetite quickly expanded beyond traditional religious learning. He grew up at a time when Iran was wrestling with modernity, with Western influence, and questions about identity, tensions that would shape his life's work. He pursued higher education at the University of Mashhad, where he studied literature, Arabic, and French. But the real turning point came when he moved to France and studied at the Sorbonne. In Paris, he encountered a world of revolutionary philosophy and anti-colonial theory. He read and absorbed the works of Karl Marx, Jean-Paul Sartre, Frantz Fanon, and Louis Massignon. But Shariati did something unusual. Instead of copying Western frameworks or rejecting them entirely, he translated their language into an Islamic civilizational context. He began asking a radical question. What if Islam itself was already a revolutionary ideology, one rooted in justice, dignity, and social transformation? When he returned to Iran, he started teaching sociology while delivering public lectures that blended Islamic history, philosophy, and social theory. He argued that Islam was never meant to be reduced to a ritual or personal spirituality alone. Instead, he presented it as a system designed to shape society, challenge injustice, and mobilize ordinary people. He believed that history is not driven by kings, dynasties, or ruling classes, but by masses. In this sense, he reinterpreted Islam as a people-centered civilizational project. He argued that Tawheed, the belief in the oneness of God, was not just theology but political liberation. If humans answer only to God, then no king, no empire, or elite class can claim absolute authority. For Shariati, religion was meant to awaken human dignity. He often referenced the Quranic idea of humans as God's vicegerents on earth, beings meant to build civilization and fight injustice. He presented the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as a model of spiritual leadership fused with political struggle, arguing that early Islam never separated faith from social responsibility. One of his most controversial intellectual contributions was his distinction between what he called Red Shiism and Black Shiism. Red Shiism, in his view, represented resistance, sacrifice, and standing with the oppressed, symbolized by Imam Hussein. Black Shiism, by contrast, represented ritualism, passivity, and cooperation with unjust power structures. To illustrate this, he once compared Imam Hussein to Che Guevara, framing the tragedy of Karbala as a universal symbol of resistance against tyranny. These ideas made him popular among students and young intellectuals, but deeply threatening to both the monarchy and sections of his religious establishment. His criticism of religious elites overlapped with his opposition to the regime of Muhammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, whom he viewed as enforcing Western-style modernization while disconnecting Iran from its cultural and spiritual roots. Shariati also spoke forcefully against colonialism and what he called cultural colonization. He argued that domination doesn't always come from foreign armies. Sometimes it comes from local elites who internalize foreign systems of power and of thinking. Influenced by anti-colonial thinkers, he believed Muslim societies needed to rediscover their own intellectual confidence and build modern societies without simply copying Europe or America. Economically and socially, he borrowed certain themes from socialist thought but filtered them through Islamic ethics. He believed wealth and land should benefit society collectively, not just the elites. He reinterpreted jihad primarily as struggle against oppression, social, political, and economic, rather than simply military conflict. Although Shariati died in exile in London in 1977 at the age of 43, his lectures and writings were already circulating widely among Iranian students and activists. By the time revolution erupted in 1979, his image and ideas were deeply embedded in the revolutionary consciousness of young Iranians. Many saw him as the intellectual who made revolution religiously and morally legitimate. At the same time, another figure was rising to prominence, Ruhollah Khomeini. Both men opposed Western domination and the Shah's authoritarian rule. Both believed Islam had to shape political life. Both mobilized mass support rather than relying on elites. Both rejected the idea that religion should be passive or confined to private life. But their visions were not identical. Shariati was deeply suspicious of clerical domination of politics. He believed revolution should come from social awakening among ordinary people, not from a permanent religious ruling class. Khomeini, on the other hand, believed that political authority should ultimately rest with religious jurists, which later became institutionalized in the doctrine of clerical guardianship. Shariati imagined an Islamic society shaped by revolutionary consciousness and social justice. Khomeini built a structured Islamic state led by clerical authority. Shariati emphasized intellectual transformation of society. Khomeini emphasized institutional religious power and state enforcement of Islamic governance. Because of this comparison, historians still debate the relationship between their legacies. Some argue that Shariati created the revolutionary mindset, while Khomeini built the revolutionary state. Some critics claim that Khomeini appropriated the revolutionary energy. Shariati helped generate but redirected it toward clerical rule, something Shariati himself might have resisted. Others argue that without Khomeini, Shariati's ideas might have remained intellectual theory rather than political reality. Regardless of interpretation, Shariati undeniably changed how many Muslims thought about religion. He insisted faith must serve justice, not just comfort. He believed religion must confront power and not legitimize it. And he argued that real belief requires engagement with society's problems: poverty, inequality, oppression, and cultural domination. His own words captured the paradox at the heart of his thinking. He once said, "Religion has two faces, one that can become empty ritual and oppression, and another that can inspire hope, justice, and liberation." His life was devoted to defending the second. Ali Shariati lived only 43 years, but his ideas helped ignite one of the most consequential revolutions of the modern Muslim world. His legacy continues to provoke debate not just about Iran, but about the relationship between faith, power, and social change. His story ultimately forces a timeless question: can belief systems transform societies, or do societies always reshape belief to serve power?